What is going on, everybody? How are you all doing? Thank you. Thank you all for tuning in with me. I am your host, Cool Gen 87. As you all come in, please do me a favor, like the content, share the stream if you can, and also subscribe to the channel if you're new to it and catch us on the replay. Um, Shout out to everybody that's tuned in here with me. I know it's been like a minute, had some things to take care of my life, been really busy. Um, in my personal life. And I think this has been like a lot of snow, so can't really do too much out here now. I'm here since yesterday, so got like a lot of like 8 inches of snow somewhere around that. So it's pretty tall outside. Everything going on, and I hope that you all are safe out there and sound and taking care of yourselves. I hope that you all are. Um, so we got Michael in the house. Shout out to Michael. We got Shed. Got the sister Manna. Shout out to all y'all that's tuned in with me on this wonderful evening on this what's today? Monday? Yeah, Monday. And Happy New Year, just in case if I didn't tell y'all first. I know it's like we're in the second month, going on to the third, but yeah. So this topic came to mind. I was watching a live stream a little bit earlier. Shout out to Minister Jap on this, gave me the idea of this topic, that you all see in the title. I was gonna change it to something else, but I said I'm just gonna go ahead and just a little bit talk about it. So I don't know how long I'm gonna be on here, so I'm just gonna do what I can. I may even open up the panels, maybe. So just sitting here thinking stuff, like I always do, and I always talk about, what today could have been like if our people, I'm talking to my people though, if we all had to invest, has the mindset of an investor, instead of consumerism, you know, being able to invest to like have our own like you know homes to pass on to like to our descendants, wealth, just other things, because I think that we missed out on so much in this and from the past. I feel like, for me being a millennial, 80s baby, I'm sitting there thinking like I feel like we missed out on some things. I mean, the opportunities. And I'm not saying that we have opportunities today, but for us, I think we have to play cleanup. Because you know some of our people didn't like really pass on like a legacy, like a generational wealthy like legacy to us. So it's like we was in the middle of the old fashioned ways onto like to the digital slash informational age, and we have to like transition from that time up to now. So we're really learning everything that we wasn't taught, and we have to teach ourselves. I figured out something. Like I was gonna name this topic, entrepreneurs will be the no, entrepreneurs are the new teachers, because a lot of younger people, and some of them, maybe some of the older, but a lot of younger people are learning from like a lot of different type of certain type of content creators, like depending on what it is, whether it's in fitness, whether it's in just trying to create something for themselves. So I see that they could learn something, take something from it, and use it to put it to the best of their knowledge and their skills. So I feel like some of us kind of feel like we're failing, but I'm not saying that we are, but I feel like we are, and what we've been taught now, and so we have to recorrect everything and make the best of our world. And I just don't know. Can't tell you how well I really see futures though. Um, but I'm all about the wealth and stuff. But at the same time, I'm still going to stay on topic with the truth, with So many things that I mean I wish I could have had to this day. Know about gold and silver, investing in certain things like maybe cryptocurrency, because I hear a lot of guys now, certain other content creators talk about it, and I think it's something really good to get into. I think it's something that's really good to get into. But even the RV, like I say, just in case, you never know. Investing in a passport, because you never know when you can have to leave the whole country. Just saying, you never know. It's just something that's really great. And a lot of people are saying, wonder why a lot of us aren't getting married or have not got married because so much has changed up. Like the times that the older people had, my parents' generation, like we really don't have too much today. So we kind of have to teach them too, because a lot of them don't know how to use like the technology that's here today. We have to go over training them with email and teaching them maybe a little bit of social media, but not all, but some of them. So and traveling. Traveling is something that's I'm trying to get more back used to, like going abroad and stuff like that, and try to get some new experiences that I've never done before in my life. So I think that's something that's really useful to have. I think it's something that's really good to have. I mean, to go experience the world and just see all the places and kind of get out the communities that we've been in. And I don't see why a lot of older people are putting, well, some of the older people that put down, even the younger men that travels that's like going elsewhere and stuff. And I watched some videos and some of them said like, they don't want this so-called nightmare here, because we know that the American dream is not really American dream. You have to be asleep, for it to believe it. All the stuff they tell us. Everything nowadays is so overpriced, houses and stuff like that. And it just made me wonder, like, will I ever get a chance to live that lifestyle that maybe my family folks may have lived, but I don't think I see myself really doing that. You know, it's like we're playing keeping up with the Joneses now. We're playing catch up. That's why I call this topic, younger generation playing catch up, because now they want us, you got to make a, have this type of certain type of business. You got to make over 100,000, 100K a year, all this stuff that, a lot of stuff that we're not really prepared for, you know, a lot of stuff that they're supposed to be taught was never taught to us. We know the school was like pretty much a fairy to us. Only thing that was school, the public school systems are the fundamentals, and the basics. That was the only thing that was really helped us to a certain extent. But other than that, I mean, some of these other things, like we really don't need like college. I see a lot of people not really going to college for that. I mean, younger people. I mean, people. I see a lot of younger people, like I said, creating their own business and stuff like that, and it's something that'd be pretty cool to like get into, learn how to have a business, like you know, do something different. You know, it's like everything these days is about just divorce and just comparing your life to a celebrity. And what I'm saying, I see a lot of people in my community like always try to do it, try to compare themselves to like these celebrities and stuff. And a lot of them like celebrities be taken advantage of. So, but I'm not really all about that. So I have to sit down and write some things for myself, make something what I want, because you know I'm not saying I'm not a materialistic person like that. But I'm not saying it's not bad to have nice things though. But I value experience. I value truth, things, simple things that really matter to me and that I can resonate with. I value people that have like a mindset like me, that understands me and gets me, because we don't have many of those today. We really don't have many of those today. But I'm not really connected with too many people around my age, because they care about a lot of dumb shit. Excuse my French, but it is what it is. A lot of dumb stuff I hear. My situation. and I really have a lot to learn about life. I have a whole lot to learn about life. Um, since I feel like a lot of the stuff that I was never taught. I'm trying to learn from the right people and be around the right people that that's been experiencing wherever it is that they're doing, so I can pick up and adapt to that. Have something to pass on if I decide to have children. You know, I think many of us, even men, like it's in our DNA to want to have families. Okay, okay, am I good now? Press one if y'all can hear me though. Okay, um, probably because I'm away from the computer. That's why. So, anyways, like I was saying, I really don't see a lot. Like I said, a lot of people just really getting married like that, and nobody's really, not too many people having families now. I mean, it's just everything is broken. It's a lot of things that are broken in today's world. As far as like the family unit, it's like, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, Amanda. Everything in our society is broken. It used to be a place where we can build families and stuff. We got a lot of you know things going on today in the world. With this COVID-19 and stuff like that, and just so much like so much like death all around us, and the news and stuff just never stops. It never stops talking about anything. It never stops talking about negativity and stuff, and putting it towards our heads and stuff. And I just had to stay away from all that. I have to stay away from all that. I have to listen to some music, go walking or something like that, just to refresh my mind and just keep away from all this stuff, because we have to be careful what we put in our systems, in our heads, because they can affect us too. Especially like with the music they got out today. A lot of the music stuff, I mean, that's out today. Like I said, I haven't listened to the radio in some years, because I don't listen to the radio like that unless I'm doing like some Pandora or something like that. So that's what I those type of apps that I invest in. But also, to like back to what I was saying, us millennials, I feel like we was in a transition to like where they told us to do all these things, go to school, go to college, graduate, get a degree, and all that type of stuff. But a lot of people's not really doing that now. I mean, you're not guaranteed a job, and even if you have some type of education, they will sit there and tell you like, well, you're overqualified, and you tell me that I'm overqualified when the system told me that I need to have this in order to get this type of job or career, whatever it is that that you're doing. But it sounds like to me when they say those things, it's like they don't have enough money to pay their employees. You know, so now the young, like our generation, is turning over a new leaf. Of course, we got this YouTube thing, Patreon. We got like just other different things people marketing. It's just pretty much come down to having the skill and a marketing entrepreneur mindset. Branding yourself. So those seem like the basic survival skills. Now you tell that everything is just changed, and it's coach how versus like a decade ago. You know, all the musicians and artists, music artists, like they used to hit like so many records and stuff, but now they don't. They're online. They're collaborating with their fans and stuff like that. Like I think it's a whole lot easier now, in my opinion. I don't want to say the easiest, but it's a little bit easier to like get in contact with the artists now, or even people like in the movie industry, music industry in a way. But it's like you are the industry. You are the industry. Whatever it is that you're doing, because this platform right here that we have right now is It's very useful. It has some ups and downs to it, but it could last, another generation. We don't know because there's always somebody right now in the works of thinking of something better that's gonna could possibly outdo this platform that I'm using. But we never know. We never know. So so we got it here. I'm gonna start going in here and checking some stuff. All right. Yeah, yeah, it's broken. Yep, the people are definitely broken though. That's absolutely for sure. And that's why a lot of us can't really come together now, especially as melanated people in general, going out to come together. I see a lot of just hurt and just people lost and don't really know the truth. So it's up to us to want to put that out there because someone needs to hear us for sure. I started watching the news since Katrina hit New Orleans. Oh wow, man, that's a long time. Yeah, man, that's been some years. Ever since all like I said, the CNN and all that type of stuff, like it's just number negativity, all that COVID. Like they push that stuff like continuously. The presidency, impeachment. That's the two topics this all over right now. You know, besides the snow and all that type of stuff, it ain't too bad, but it's there. So yeah, yeah, absolutely though. If I do watch some type of news, like I usually just get just like see like a clip or something, whatever though, because we come across it on social media at times. But for sure, Facebook and YouTube report stories on everything. Bingo, bingo, bingo. That part right there, it really does. All these social media sites, that's what they're there for. So we have all these different things. People can share their stories and, like you said, just reports on everything. So yeah, it definitely does hit hard. Electronics are dummy people now. Oh yeah, I'm so glad you brought on that because I was thinking about something back even when I was young. You had people really play like toys and stuff like that, and women play with the dolls. But now everybody wants to they want like the touch screens and stuff like that now. They want the touch screens and stuff now. So it's like, man, it's like where's the imagination? The imagination there for maybe that's where everything's going now. Everything's going there now. It's not the sun. Yep, for sure. Entire industry is demonized. Oh yeah. Yeah, the industry is demonized now. I mean, look at how they doing our music. That's why we ain't got no real music now. We don't have real music no more. So we got black people. They all talking about the alpha beta thing, stuff like that. And love songs brought together, our people. It brought black people together. But now they separate that. They don't want that. It's just drug violence and dumbing down people, like you said, for sure. YouTube and social media make people stars without the contracts. Man, what you said, that part right there is very true. That's exactly what it does. Make people stars without the contracts and stuff like that. So it's like everybody's getting a chance to be like a celebrity to a certain extent. The thing about social media, it gives you a status. Say, you know what I'm saying? A status. So I'm gonna see if I can drop the link. I'm just gonna put the link in here. Anyways, let's see. So I ain't really doing too much. All right, I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. All right, there it is. There it is. There it is. But yeah, like I said, with the older generation, it's like they push us to like get a job, get a job, get a job, get a job, but they never tell us to like, invest, 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 invest. Because a lot of us are consumers in the black community. And now we're gonna have foreigners come over here. They're gonna try to take over everything that we could have, you know, because if we don't start now, and doing that, then we're at a lost cause. We're definitely at a lost cost, if it comes down to not creating our own businesses and just having our own stuff like I don't know everything about economics, but I do know to a certain extent, and I see why it's important. Like, wow, I see why this can actually benefit us to help us help our knowledge. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have somebody on here soon to talk about this too, this topic um with the investments. So yeah, families don't communicate anymore because of social media. Uh-huh. Spouses are ignoring one another and everyone Googles everything. Yeah. Even before the social media, we had like was the encyclopedias, the dictionaries, everybody to this day I still read books. Like that's what I am grateful for from the older generations that I do appreciate the old style of things, just going out in public and stuff, speaking to people and reading books, it's nothing wrong with that. We've gotten so far away to where like I don't even write like that. You know, it's always punching the keys now. It's always punching the keys. So that's how far we've gotten in this culture today. So if I do sign something, write something, it'll be just like doing something with the checkbook or sign my name on something. Other than that, I don't just simply. Well, I do write, but it's just not like all the time. I just usually just type. Make my hands useful to something else. So yeah, whenever we try to tell, I remember I was telling one of my folks about how just like years ago, where I said technology, at the time it's going to take over in the future, but no one believed me. No one believed me though. So I remember telling my mother that she said now, and a lot of them older people are like, wow, like why some of these simple things are very hard, simple hard now, like the find stuff. I said, well, that's what it's come down to. That's what it's come down to. Like I already seen it. I've already seen it. So, but the social media part, I really didn't see about. Before social media, they had it was something else. Well, the email and things like that. Someone make an application to where it's going to kind of show people who they are. So you probably see it throughout television shows and cartoons and stuff like that. It's definitely beneficial to create our own business and market. However, we find it hard to work together due to jealousy and envy. Oh, it's a lot of that going on. It's a whole lot of that going on. A lot of jealousy and a lot of envy. To where like we don't even know how to be able to communicate. That's why the so-called manosphere don't be building. That's why I say I'm not part of no type of group um on this YouTube thing. But I do care about some of the people that build and have knowledge that's very knowledgeable. Because there are some, but some people like, hey, I'll try to teach you this. I'll try to show you how you can do this or whatever. But they just too busy arguing stuff. It's usually just about women and just stupid stuff. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
What's going on, man? It's
Good to see you.
crazy that good to see you too. It was crazy you just talking about that, man. About us working together and even
Hmm.
about the whole social media of us not dealing with each other to a certain extent. The craziness is I was actually working with a guy this weekend, one of my wife's family members, um, for her mom, her stepdad, pretty much. Like they ain't married yet, but stepdad. And
Hmm.
he's Jamaican. And I helped him do a couple of jobs. And it was amazing to me that every job he did was a Jamaican person. He
Hmm.
worked with all Jamaican people on these jobs. And at the end of the day, he went to older Jamaican guys and they all sat down, talked at a bar, laughed and joked around. Like I'm looking at them doing that and I'm like, why are we not implementing this same thing in our culture? You know, because even though and then it was funny because one of the guys technically didn't want to pay him what he wanted to be paid. There was no fighting. There was arguing, but there was no fighting. And at the end of the day, they settled on the agreement to, what I'm saying, make the payment. But it was just, the guy felt that he was too high, and he was like, well, I'll do it this way. Let me cut everything I put in here out. I don't want to get paid for anything. I'll leave and I'll let you get someone come out here and put it in. He knew that if he had somebody to come out, they were going to charge probably double. And the craziness, it was like a sink job where he redid the whole sink, put new lines in, put new knobs in, and the contractor who came in, he messed everything up because his job was just to put in cabinets. He didn't worry about the plumbing because that wasn't his job. And he came in and redid it. But the crazy part was how they were able to, just go ahead and settle their differences and work it out. Because ultimately, the guy who was doing the contracting part, he wanted to save as much money as possible. And that was his whole goal of, getting a cheaper guy to come in and put it in so he can keep more money in his pocket. But like I say, the thing of it was, all of them, they work with each other, Jamaican guys. And as us as black men, even black women in general, like, why can't we have a black man come fix our steps? Why can't we have a black man come fix our furnace? Why we got to call the major companies? I've always pushed that on my Facebook group, that everybody in these groups, everybody in Facebook pretty much know each other from family and friends. And everybody talks about that. And when they come to Atlanta, they say everybody knows somebody. I know a guy that tows cars. I know a guy that works on cars. If I don't, I'll call somebody. They might know somebody. That's how we kind of move in Atlanta, to kind of push each other to, help each other out. Now, sometimes it doesn't be that good because you got one guy that want to be selfish and he want to ruin it for everybody because he want to charge somebody more than what he's doing. And then in return, or you might not be doing a better job, which suitable if you were doing it for somebody else. And that's always breaking the chain link of everybody working with each other. You got that one or two people that just want to be more greedier than everybody, and they don't want to, perform the job at the peak it should be. Now they were in another, environment. They knew they had no choice but to perform at their best. But because they're dealing with somebody that you know of that are friends, well, I can shade him a little bit and he'll be okay because he know this guy.
Right. We always got people like that though, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like real selfish. Sometimes, man, I even want to get the job done. But yeah, it's just crazy because, growing up, I always wondered about that. The things they always taught us, after high school, go to college, army, or workforce. But the fourth thing they never taught us was like, hey, you don't have to work for nobody. You can start your own business and stuff. And that's something that we was never taught. I was talking to a friend earlier though, and I was saying, you know what? I was thinking like I can imagine like at a rich person like table with their family talking to their children. I can imagine them saying like, "Hey, we're a rich and healthy family, and that the kids that go to public schools, whatever, they will not be taught the things that you all are taught." You know what I'm saying? So they just always made me wonder. Like I know it's something I feel like it was missing though, man. But there's definitely a change in the atmosphere, as we speak right now. So the things that I know my parents stuff can do at the time, like it was maybe for them, they had opportunity stuff, but I'm not saying that we don't, but we're kind of like, for me, like coming to like a transition, of things, from old fashioned ways to like the informational age now. So now it's like, okay, now everybody's kind of like starting to lean towards like working for themselves in some type of way.
Yeah. I mean, the craziness, I kind of tell people sometimes, my parents died at a young age. So, far as me, I was raised by me and my brothers, we were all raised by my grandmother. And she had this old style of thinking and mentality that it gave us character and it gave us a little inspiration, but she was lacking the knowledge of the new generation. So far as my mom, she was in the military, my dad was in the military, and they both left to where we had money to where then they passed. The military gave a check to my grandmother until we got 18, and if we wanted to pursue college. And as I got older, I realized that I should have went to the military to have that set up for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started getting into life insurance, and I actually got life insurance now. And due to that, I got a whole policy, and I have a term policy because I started learning about these things because I wanted a future for my kids. I actually have
Mm-hmm.
4 kids, and I always tell guys, when this space, when we hear guys talking about things about life insurance, IRAs and getting their money together, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
guys want to start talking about the talking points of females. And I'm like, look, I say, I don't mean to, I tell guys, I say, I don't mean to disrespect nobody in the chat, nobody on the panel. But when someone's talking about money, I'd rather listen to that than to talk the same talking points all the time, because that's how I look at them as talking points. Because if you begin to say things over and over, it's like we're chanting these things to the point I understand what's going on. I understand how people are moving. But to move farther for ourselves, we have to focus on the money and bettering ourselves. You
Uh-huh.
know, that's why I like, China's even like with Gold Professor, he speak to the men, he speak to changing yourself, and he always speak to behavior. That's one of the key things I like about his channel is the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
We have to start with changing the behavior for ourselves. And
All
like
about
I
the
said with
mindset.
that, yeah. And that life insurance, I tell guys, you're never too old to get in it. Term life is better for people that's older, because if you get a 30-year term and it's cheap, if you can't afford the whole life, which is better to get whole life between mid-age, between your 20s and 30s, because with that whole life, you actually hold on to that. You can borrow money where you can pay it back, like you taking loans out from yourself. The more you have invested into it, the more you can get out. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people that knows we wasn't
Yep.
taught this. I was pushing this to my friend on Facebook, and he was like, "You always sharing this stuff about life insurance." And I told him, I said, "Dude, it's because we don't know." He's like, "Yeah, these are things that we wasn't taught. I wish somebody would told me." Just like you were saying earlier about gold and all this. I had a lady that was teaching me about certain little things in stock about buying gold, buying Facebook when it came out, because actually she's my pastor and she was investing in all this stuff. And she would
Mm-hmm.
tell us she have a guy that she worked with was her stock advisor, and he was telling her certain things. And like I was telling the people that I knew, I didn't listen to her because of my upbringing, to where I had like my grandmother, she was raising me to the point where when I wanted to do something like that, investing, she wasn't
Mm-hmm.
encouraging that. And more or less she wanted to get the money from me versus let me put it in something. To in return,
Uh-huh.
I thought that if I just spend the money, that I won't have to give nobody nothing because they see me always spend it. That was the mindset I had, which I should have been had the mindset where somebody was telling me about something. I should have been investing that money into those things.
Mm-hmm. As you get older though, man, you kind of learn new things. It's like, wow, okay, I spent money on this and that, where it is in the past stuff. But now, as a young adult, it's like, okay, why haven't I been taught about investing? You know what I'm saying? Planting seeds to where like, my tree is gonna grow, you know what I'm saying? I got take with me, basically, aka my network or whatever type of personal business I have, man, because now it is the time to actually do that. I remember a guy from another stream was talking about by 2050, said something like the black community would be like financially dead, man. Like the guy was on this stuff, like he was very intelligent. I said, huh. I said that's very interesting though, because we don't really look into a lot of the economics and stuff like that. Um, why it's important, like we buy and invest in each other. If we understand the math behind that, then we would truly evaluate. It was like, oh, okay, now I see why this is important stuff. You know, like I said, we got to relearn stuff all over because we wasn't taught this. Like I was saying earlier, like what's the point of trying to learn about all 50 presidents? Like, how is that going to benefit me in life? How is that going to benefit me? That's not helping me put, you know what I'm saying, creating a source of income, you know, because that's what we need out here, you know, different sources of income. So like these businessmen and business women out here, man, that's why a lot of them are so far ahead of the game and stuff because they know what's important. They know what it takes and know what it needs in order to survive out here, man, because it all comes down to like money talks, man. You know, but the knowledge is what's important. I'd rather have the knowledge than the money. And the reason why I say that, I'm pretty sure you know, because at least wherever it is, so like something I created, I have the knowledge of it and I can resell it again, you know, whereas a product or whatever, no, like over and over and over and over and over again, 24/7, man. And I was thinking about something Warren Buffett said, if you don't learn how to make money in sleep, you'll die working, man. And that's very deep.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean it's crazy because the funny part when it comes to all that, I always tell a lot of men in this space, you should be able to know how to do everything. And if you don't, at least have some way of finding out about the knowledge or, learning about the knowledge. Because
Right,
as men, we expect to be the leaders of the community. We expect to be the leaders of the household. And we
right,
expect the women to, follow us to a degree. Now, if we're incompetent on certain things, you know, it's not saying that we should be able to know everything in the world itself, but women are going to look at you to the extent of, if I know how to do something, you should have some type of knowledge about it. Like I tell people, I know how to sew, I know how to cook and clean. Those are the main things I learned young. You know, I took home
mm-hmm,
ec. A lot of guys didn't want to take it. Some people took it and played around in it. I like cooking. Cooking's not a burden to me. I'm married, so me and my wife we cook sometimes. And there's
mm-hmm,
occasions where I just tell her I'll cook, and she wants to cook something. I say no, I feel like cooking. And we'll go through the things where I just go ahead and cook. Or even if I'm on the grill, most guys can grill but can't make sides. I know how to grill. Come in there, make the sides, not potato salad, stuff like that. You know, and the key thing is to have, like I always tell people, start with knowledge itself. That's why
right,
I talk to guys who say within the 5% nation. I can talk to them because I have knowledge of self. I understand who I am and what type of man I am to where I know where I'm going, know what I want to do with my life. People who are lost, you can't hold a conversation with someone of certain intellect. Even if I'm in a
right,
room, like I tell guys, when it comes to politics, I'll sit there and be quiet to a certain extent. But I know something. I have a vast knowledge of it, but I have an understanding of what needs to be said and what needs to be done with politics. Same thing in any subject. I talk my piece when I know. If I don't know, I sit back and learn. A lot of people want to talk without learning. And like I tell most people, even with my kids, you don't listen with your mouth. You listen with your ears.
bingo, bingo,
Yeah.
bingo, well said, man. So, like you said, even if it's something that I don't know about, I can sit there and just try to learn it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, and this is another thing I said too. Like, who you learn from makes all the difference in the world. So you think about, you know, the younger people that's been like born with a silver spoon in their mouth, and they have like their own business or whatever, though, man. Because they may learn from their parents or someone in their family, though, man. They give them that knowledge to where like they can pass on to their future descendants. You know, so they keep the tree growing and stuff, man. You know, water the tree, you know, so you gotta water the tree and all stuff. Make sure it's all that to where like it continues to like stay growing and flourish. So that's something that we have to do too, man, you know, as our own because it's like I said, today is a gift and what we do today will affect our tomorrow. So yeah, man,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't know how far like this place is gonna be as far as like the whole country and stuff, but I was saying earlier about how I see like it's gonna be more foreigners come over here and try to so-called take over like Y'all heard? I'm pretty sure y'all heard about that guy. I forgot his name. I don't know if he's Nigerian. He's talking about trying to erase like African American, History Month, which I think African American history is like every single day. But just simple stuff like that. Like you never know. You never know, man. You never know.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, the craziest part, I was on a panel when I was talking to a guy, and you know, he was basically explaining to this younger guy who wanted to just break up with his girlfriend because of everything that he hear in the manosphere. He said, "Well, women are going to cheat no matter what. You guys are saying this, you guys are saying this. So my girlfriend is untrustworthy. I'm going to break up with her. I'm just going to be by myself." And the guy's like 22, 23 or something like that. And I'm telling him, I'm like, so you're using the points of other men to not learn, but to say that, you're not going to do well with this woman. I say, does this woman give you problems? No. Does this woman, talk back, or just the general statement in which all these other men say these women are? Is that your girl? No, she's not. I say, so you're taking the information that these guys giving to you and not using it with the intent to move better. You're using it with the intent to reflect, in which I'm gonna have to stay afloat, and I have to be in these guys' situation. These guys are 40, 50 some years old. They've experienced life. They've done things. They giving your stories to let you know not to get caught up, not deal with women in general. Because for a real man, he know that women and men, they work together to establish a relationship. In return, for the man to be dominant in the relationship, he
Mm-hmm.
has to show his dominancy by, you know, doing things that most men won't do, and doing things for the greater good. You know, as a woman, she respects
Balance.
that. Like, I tell men, you know, you have to be the head of the household, not by just saying it, but by showing.
Uh-huh.
Because I always tell guys with this word submissive, I always use well, I just had a brain freeze now, but I always not use the word submissive, but just to get along with each other, or some words similar to that, to where you're saying that, those are the same words as submissive, to, be understanding. I always use the word understanding. I don't say
Mm-hmm.
submissive because I know women, it's like a bad taste in the mouth of tasting nasty medicine. So I use the word understanding. If I find a woman that's understanding, we can work together, we can do things. The moment you use the word submissive, they always look at it as a controlling word. But
Like a cuss
understanding is a
word.
little more pleasant. Yes. And to the point where the guy, he was sitting there listening to all these other guys, and the main guy who was explaining all this to him, I asked him, I said, hold on, you're giving this guy advice, right? I said, how old are you? Said he was in his 30s, mid 30s. I said, are you married? He said, no, I don't want to get married. I said, do you have kids? He said, no. I said, do you have a girlfriend? No, I asked him, has he ever been married? He said, no. He don't want to get married, and he don't want kids. I said, you're giving advice to a guy that wants to get
Hmm.
married, wants to have kids. I said, so you're leading him astray. I say, so as of
Mm-hmm.
right now, I'm not trying to be anything against you, but I think you should be quiet. I just told him, not trying to be, rude to him, but I'm like, you should just be quiet, because ultimately you're trying to make him live like you. And as a
Mm-hmm.
man that wants to get married, he should be getting advice from a guy who either married or wants to be married and looking for someone.
That part right
There's
there,
no,
bro. You said a mouthful. Go ahead.
yeah, and that's what I say. As men, if we're giving information, we should be giving information to the people that need it. If I'm gonna be single, and I see a young man that wants to be single, I'm gonna give him the information to let him know this is how you're gonna live a single life. If I see a young man that wants to get married and I want to get married, or I'm married, I will tell that young man, this is what you need to be married and to stay married and have a happy life. See, a lot of guys in this space, I tell them,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to give information from which knowledge is applied, not from the emotional part of things. I don't want to say
Yep.
it because my thing is this: when I use the words, when I talk to men and I use the words feeling, I go, the Maxwell song, because I let you know, as
Yeah.
men, we every man has emotions. We're taught
Uh-huh.
to be tough. We're taught to not show our emotions. You get hit, or you fall off your bike, you get up, you dust it off, and you keep going. That's what men are taught, to the
Hmm.
extent to where when we're talking as men, we should be talking factual. We shouldn't be talking from an emotional standpoint, because that's the more or less what a
Uh-huh.
lot of females do. And not saying that men shouldn't show emotions, but there's a time and a place for everything. And a lot of women always get on men about being emotional. Why you can't show your emotions? Why can't you be like me? Because society has groomed us like this, but we know how to be emotional around you when
Right.
we're
She's
when we're
supposed to be our
together.
peace. A woman's
Exactly.
supposed to be our peace. And wow, of course, the women and stuff are emotional. We have to use our logic and common sense. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to real life situations and things like that, though. And like you said, they this society is like really upside down, man. It is really upside down right now. And and I tell other people too, just be careful who you take advice from, as far as like maybe relationship wise, marriage wise. And like you said, I do agree with you. Like if you somebody that really wants to get married and you need some advice, I will take advice from the ones that's been married for like 30 plus years. I mean, because they know they've been through the ups and downs and stuff like that, and they can still together. Like, okay, I can learn maybe from someone like grandparents or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like grandma, grandpa, how y'all stay together this long? You know what I'm saying? But today we really don't have that now. It's all about hating women, hating men. Like they just hating each other, man. Like today, everything's all about hate. It's not about love no more. You know what I'm saying? It's not about building together. It's all about destroying each other. You know what I'm saying? Tearing each other apart, especially in the melanated community, man. That's what it's all about. That's what we see right now all around us, man. And it's just like we gotta get to the point to like, when are we gonna get tired of this, man? Because this can't keep going on like this. You know what I'm saying? It's like we got the younger generation coming up, and they we are their first examples and stuff. I remember it was a younger man, he was like 17, no 18. He was saying, he like you and some of the other guys are the only ones I kind of look up to because like it's hard to find like positivity out here. You know what I'm saying? So that right there lets me know, right? Okay, I know I have to keep my change my mindset and speak on what's real out here and what needs to be said, you know, because that's where we're at right now, man. People, the younger generation aren't really watching TV like that no more. They not watching TV like that no more. They coming on here, YouTube, they finding some real, content, um, it could be depending on what it is, traveling, relationship wise, just opening a business or something like that, man. And even if we don't know about one of those things, like, hey, I can direct you to this person right here. You know what I'm saying? That has like you want to learn about how to build a house. I can direct you to somebody on here that I know person that's a content creator like me that can build houses or something like that. So yeah, that's what it's all about, man. We're all about connecting. Connectors, man. We're the future.
Yeah. That's even like, I go on Art and Styles channel a lot. And that's what made me actually revamp my channel and start up this YouTube I have right here as far as my name. Because with him, he does his talks, but he always go back to the same narrative for black people and family.
Uh-huh.
Because we can do all the fussing and cussing about women, but if we're gonna have kids or we're gonna have lineage, we have to settle with the women and work out something. You know, all women, I always put it to the point, all women are not bad. You know, I think the Roger channel, we talked about at least 15% of the women that are out here good. And
Uh-huh.
that's a small number compared. You have what 44 million black people on black demographics. And I think if you break down, was about 16, close to 16 some percent of them are men, the rest of them are
Uh-huh.
women. Out of all those women, you have what little over a million or somewhat in that ballpark. They're the good women. The rest of them, well, not even a million, close to, but less than a million. but you have only less than 1 million women that are good, and the rest of them are just, having
Bad
fun or
apples.
doing other things. Yeah. And I always tend to go back to the generation thing because the older women, if they're not happy, they will pretty much go off and have the young women, not being happy as well, because you can't have your daughter be better than you in some instances. Not saying that all of them do it. And then there are some men that they grew up in a rough life and they push their boys in that same direction. Because I always say I never sit here and go on the women and not go on the guys, because I
Uh-huh.
never found that there's no men that are out here doing anything wrong. And when I hear channels of guys always talking about the women, and if I bring, well, we're not talking about the men. And I say, well, are we going to say that men do anything wrong? And if they won't contest that there's somewhat of men that are out here doing anything wrong, I know it's just the narrative that you're pushing. Because
Mm-hmm.
just like there's women that doing something wrong, there's men doing something wrong as well. So we have to address both, because when it comes down to it, there's a small number of men, because like I've always said, the narrative is mostly with black men not taking care of their kids. You
Uh-huh.
have the same guys having kids. Like, for example, there's a guy in Tennessee. He has over 30 something kids. How does
Mm.
one man have over 30 kids and not none of those women know that this guy is having several? I mean, what was it? Back in 2000, I want to say 10 or 12, he had 28 kids, and the guy worked at McDonald's with 28
Jesus
kids.
Christ.
Just imagine how
Jesus
much
Christ.
child support that is.
Shh. Man. In depth, man.
Yeah,
In depth, man.
yeah.
Whew.
And the craziness of it is this guy keeps constantly having kids, and he stays in a small town. I want to say Murfreesboro, somewhere in Tennessee, not that far from Nashville. But the thing of it is,
Mhm.
everybody knows everybody in these small towns. My family is from a
Yep.
small town in Greenville. Everybody knows everybody. Even if you go to the next town over, you have some type of cousins, relatives, somebody that stays in those areas that know of you, or just
Uh-huh.
even if the word gets out about one guy, you're gonna start
Yep.
seeing a face, you know, to the
Mhm.
point where you can't go too much nowhere but into another state or far away town for people that just not to know you. And it amazes me that, you know, like I say, with the men that are out here doing these things, it's a small handful of men. So with the women, like I tell the women, you have to take accountable for yourself, because it's something that those women seen in that man, to
Uh-huh.
where all the women had kids with him, you know. And the same as that man, it's something wrong with him to the point where he's steady having kids as if, it's a lottery,
Yeah, man.
you know.
Definitely, definitely for sure though, man. And like you said, both parties are responsible for their own bodies and who they bring, because it takes two to tangle, man. You know what I'm saying? So with you bringing in that many kids, it's like I don't. That's crazy, man. Like that's really crazy. And the way times are right now, I mean, the child support and all that type of stuff, especially what I'm saying, if he's a man, then the system is really going to be against him. You know. So I mean, you just got to be responsible, though, man. I mean, you think you're ready to have so many kids like that, then be prepared to, saying, all your pockets to be kind of empty, though, man. You know, unless you like just
Yeah.
Warren Buffett or somebody like that, man, who just got money like that. But like I said, in our society, man, our country, I mean, it's just to the point to where, like, everything is just, like I said, just so divided and watered down, and just need some knowledge to pass on to. You know what I'm saying? Open my mind up to something to where like I can learn, and I can take with me. But that's how way it is right now, man. So we gotta recover. It's like playing recovery, man.
Yeah, that's true. Because I seen I think it was the Bonner Brothers. They have their own collection to where the Bonner Brothers in Atlanta, they have the hair care products, and all the family, their ministry family. And the father, I think he had a total of 7 kids. and I think three or four of them in ministry. Actually, three of them they're in one church, and they have ministry. They have a website to where people can go on there, listen to free content. I think it's called Air Jesus.
Uh-huh.
And they have another, I think the other website is called Mountain Wings. And one of the pastors on there, he said that his father would always go around and people would tell him, well, this is how you should raise your kids, and this is how you should do this. He said the example that he always told him was, let me see your child. What is the proof? Because the proof is always in the pudding. And he
Uh-huh.
showed one guy, explained to him, yeah, you know, you do this and that to your child will be successful. He's like, well, show me your kids. He had one was a doctor, one was a lawyer, and the other one was something of a high profession as well. And
Mm-hmm.
out of all three kids, all of them graduated from college. All of them did a minimum of 8+ in school, got high earnings, degrees, and everything else. He came home and implemented the same thing to all his kids because he said, if I see the success right here that you have for your kids, I'm looking for that same success for my kids. You know,
Right.
and a lot of people don't do that. You know, when we see someone that's successful and, you know, if they give you information that's worthy, look for the example. You know, like the Bruce Lee term, eat the meat, leave the bone. Don't take
Uh-huh.
everything for face value and don't take everything and run with it. You have to take with the most important things that are key to life. Don't take if a man shows you how to tie his shoe, how to tie your shoes, you want to look at the steps in tying the shoes, not looking at how to put the shoe on in the heel because that's common. Everyone does that.
Mm-hmm.
See to the key things on high loops and you know just the bare necessities in getting the job done. See, a lot of people want to look at the minute things of what color the strings should be. You know, is the strings nice? Is the shoes nice? Look at the job being done and assess that. Don't try to look at everything around it because you're missing out on the main thing that needs to be focused on.
Right. Right. Very true though, man. Like I said, the L's and stuff, even what I took though, man, like I don't look at L's as losing though, but I look at L's as a learning lesson. You know what I'm saying? So we all got that in life, man. Like we fail, it's just an experiment, but it's up to us to like learn the lesson and apply it.
Yeah,
So that's what it all comes down to, man. Definitely for sure. Definitely.
yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate everybody that's tuned in with me, Cool Gen 87. Thank you all for sharing my content. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to it and catch it on the replay. I truly do appreciate that. So I'm probably going to go ahead, almost get ready to get up off here though, man. But yeah. So I'm gonna finish talking up this real quick. So with the do you think that the older generation kind of fell like to like millennials and the what is it just not Gen Xers but
Disease.
disease? Yeah.
Well, in a sense, it all depends on what you mean by failing because if you look at it far as when the drug era came in, it shut a lot of the programming down that we already had accomplished. You know, you had guys that were going to school and becoming lawyers, even though you had the people that were doing the rough things out here in society, it melted over to the people that were doing good. Because, you know, when famine hits, it hits
Uh-huh.
everybody. You know, you can have a great dad, you know, thought something like smoking some crack was going to ease his pain because that's how it ultimately got started. A lot of people were losing jobs and, you know, they thought of something to ease the pain. You know, a lot of people drink to ease the pain.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people smoke weed to ease the pain. And it becomes a habit to where you can't control it. So I don't fault a lot of them for doing it, but for the ones that are not teaching, the ones that really, those were the ones that dropped the ball. You know, the ones that kind of didn't,
Yep.
you know, teach the next generation. Those are the ones I
Uh-huh.
look at for dropping the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely for sure. And also it goes back to only going off to what how much knowledge you know. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it goes back to who you taught by makes all the difference in the world. and it is up to us now because like I said, a lot of generation ones coming up, the Generation Z and stuff, and the ones after coming up, like they look into like for content creators like us though, like the stuff that we see now, we know like the school system's a failure, whatever though. Because like I said, it's so much exposure on the internet. Like you can simply find it now, about school system and how the internet's taking over, and it's just changed so much in our own lives, man. I mean, it's a part of everybody's life now. So sometimes I have to detox from it in a way, but I understand I still use it for like certain purposes, like this right here, to like interact with you all and to talk about things that's on my mind and stuff. So it's a great thing. I mean, like I said, I do like YouTube though, but I know they cut down a lot of the stuff that we used to say on here now, but they shutting it down. If they continuously do that, then like I said, we're going to have our own platform, to where like we can actually do our live streams and stuff on, because that's where it's come down to. So yeah, man, you got any last words?
Like I always say, man, for us to actually to do better in society, we got to come together and work things out. Man and woman. Man can't do it alone. We can
Uh-huh.
build, we can do everything, make the money, but to reproduce and have the kids, we need the women. You know, and I always tell men to to build within your community, but at the end of the day, I ultimately always say go and be where you be happy at. Because if we can't get the women to be on the same page, we can't stop living. We have to keep moving, you know.
Uh-huh.
And the women that are out here that are working with us, we appreciate them. You know,
Uh-huh.
their sacrifice that which they do, then going against the other women is appreciated. But they have to also keep in mind they have to pick the same man. They have to pick a better man as well. If most women who have the same pitfalls, they keep falling into the same trap by dealing with the same guys. You have to
Uh-huh.
broaden your horizon and deal with people as well that make you happy. And I ain't with that.
That's real talk, man. That's definitely real talk. Shout out to Brandon though, man. Shout out to you, bro. You kind of tuned in a little bit late, off and get off in a second. But yeah, you're right about that. We all got to come together as one though. But it's with the ones that's open minded, that's like minded, like us. You know what I'm saying? Men and women like us though, man, because everybody's not cut from the same cloth. You know what I mean?
True.
So yeah, we have to work with the people that's open minded like us though, man. I believe people like us, men and women like us, we could all come together. And like I said, whether it's teaching, depending on wherever it is though, I mean, because like minds attract like minds. So that's what it's all about, though, man. And till us as men, we're the logical thinkers and stuff like that. I believe that the women will follow. You know, they get under our plan and stuff. So I think that's something I think that should have been taught to, in my opinion. Um, the leadership thing, especially as a man, because we're really the leaders and stuff like that. So that's what it's gonna come down to, and we are the generation right now that's being looked up to. What are we doing? What are we doing to prosper and stuff? To leaving inheritance for our kids or whatever. Like, what are we teaching them? You know. But yeah, man, that's all I pretty much want to say though, man. So I'm about to definitely do like another live stream on this topic, change it up a little bit to something else. But yeah, shout out to everybody that's tuned in with me though, man. It's Cool Gen 87. And I'm about to get off here. Y'all have a blessed night. Y'all take care. And thanks for coming on, shit. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, and don't forget, man. We here. We here. All right now.
All right. Y'all have a blessed one. Good night. Cool Gen 87 sign out. Peace.